Well, g'day everyone. So I thought I'd test out this little thing that I found online. Is if you can't afford or can't purchase a block of tie ring, which if you don't know what that is, I'll insert an image here for you. So the concept is that you thread the loop through with the bar in between, and the idea is so that if you tie the horse to it, and when the horse pulls back, he's not secured solely to a solid object as if you were to tie him to a fence post or a tree. Rather, if he pulls back, then he can actually get release when he pulls back. Now, I didn't want to go spending approximately between $50 and $100 Australian on one block of tie ring. So the idea I found is you have an old horse bit, just a regular snaffle bit, which I have one here because I can't ride Cora anymore. So I've got one of her bits, which I already know that's going to be miles too big on Kahu, even when I can ride him, but I do have a spare bit for him that I can use. And so I've utilised it, and I'll show you how. Okay, so I've already tied it onto the round yard with some baling twine because that stuff is tough as nails. You want to hang your bit so it's curved way facing away from you, so that when the ring goes up in front, the rope has this curved piece to thread around. So I'll just put Kahu's rope through it and I'll show you how that works. Okay, so now that I've got it set up, as you can see, I have the curved side of the bit furthest away from me with the ring in front. And then I've put the rope through from this side, so if I pull the ring down, you'll see how I've done it. It flows in round that way, and then the ring simply goes up. There's just no magnet to keep it there. And then you just have the horse through on one side. There's Kahu's halter, and you can see the rope still pulls through. Now, I haven't actually had Kahu tied up at all yet, so let's get the halter on Kahu and see how he responds to when he's tied. Okay, so Kahu is now attached to the fence. As you can see, the block of tie ring homemade version. I actually used a linchpin with Jewel in the past. So the rope is attached to him, he can pull back. That rope is piled on the correct side so that when it pulls, it's not crossing under and behind this rope. As you can see, he just turned around, he responded to the pressure and walked into it. Now he's just working out the pressure. Now, unlike Jewel, he responds to pressure really well. Jewel hated pressure from all fronts when I first started, which was why I came up with something very similar to this with her, just so that she could release herself from the pressure on her own without ripping my arm out of its socket. And this helped us tremendously with with Jewel being tied way back. This greatly helped us, and she actually learnt to walk into pressure rather than fight it, as she hated the feel of the pole, the pressure hitting her pole just behind her ears. As you can see, Kahu can move, he can get to me, he can pull back if that's what he wants to do. But I thought this would be a nice, safe area, being all sand, for him to learn. And he can certainly pull that rope through if that's what he wants to do. So just to see how he would respond, I've just shortened the rope all the way back. So he's got a couple of feet of rope there. And I just wanted to see how he would respond to it. So then this also gives me a good gauge of when I start putting him in the float and he's tied in the float, to see whether or not he's going to pull back as soon as he thinks he's quote unquote trapped in the float. But so far so good. I don't think we're going to have any problems. Now, of course, the rope is more than long enough that Kahu can still get his nose to the ground if that's what he wants to do, but it's not so long and looped that if he was to start pouring that he's going to get his leg stuck. Okay, so now the ultimate test. I'm just coming back over to him now with a bucket of food. So I'll slacken his rope off just a tiny bit and we'll give him his dinner. Hey buddy. So he can actually get his head in as it stands, so we'll see how he goes. And of course, giving him a bucket of food while he's tied up like this also gives him a positive association with being tied rather than just being an inconvenience to him and having to just deal with the problem. Okay, so I did one little modification after Kahu had finished his dinner with the camera, and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so it looks the same until you get to here. And what I just did was I had a spare dog clip that I bought from Bunnings, just so that if I ever need to replace it on a lead rope, I've got spares. And so what I've done is I've just tied the baleen twine that I originally had on the ring. I've tied it onto the dog clip, as you can see. This is just so that if I get really bad weather with lots of rain, since my round yard is not undercover, I can simply unclip this and take the whole setup away and out of the weather. Okay, so that is the helpful hack video for now. If you'd like to see more videos like this one or have video suggestions, do drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, Kahu and I will see you next time. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can stay up to date with what's going on in our world.